Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live in UFRL for the second day of the draft, and this will be for tiers 1, 2, and 3. As you can see on the list in front of you, we've got all 10 teams and their team principals. We've had to make a couple of changes with Matthias and Pesci entering into the fray, but they join Shudson, Beast, Willie Fernandez, Kingy OG, Coffee, Destroyer Drac, Mrs. Poem, and Shazam in that team principal list for the season ahead. And those drivers who are driving full time, which will be everyone bar Matthias in that list, have also got themselves listed across their names as well, like Tier 1 drivers Beast, Willie, Coffee and Pesci, Tier 2 Kingy OG and Destroyer Jack, Tier 3 Shudson, Mrs. Poem and Shazam. Yes, Mrs. Poem will be racing this season. Of course, she won the Constructors last season as well. And their draft budget remaining is on the list as well. They've got 250 in total to spend. Matthias, of course, is the only one who is not racing, so he still has the full 250 to spend. Everybody else has spent some money basically on themselves. So, going back to last night, of course, we did the full calendar. We've done the international tier, the 100% tier, and also drafted out the team principals as well to see which team they'll get. So now we'll go straight into the draft. The first pick will go to the Kick Sauber as well. So I'm hoping they're all prepared for that one, and we'll put the 5-minute clock on. So let's go for the 5-minute clock for the Kick Sauber for the first pick tonight. And they're ticking down nicely. So who are they going to go for? Will it be a top-end Tier 1 driver? Again, you can't go for Pesci. Hayes is still there. You've got Mr. Poem. You've got Lynx. Plenty of opportunities. Merck still in there as well. Rusted Bolt, another potential target for loads from Tier 1. But you can go for anybody. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 drivers are all available to sign for the first pick. So this could be up to anybody. Also, welcome into the chat then, Wilco, Mr. Potwash, and Speedy Bullet. Hope you're all doing good. But definitely looking forward to this one. 4 minutes remaining for the first pick for Kick Sauber. I will just have to make sure I've got that up as well. There you go. Right. So who we think will go first? Will it be a Tier 1 driver? Will it be a Tier 2? Or will it be a Tier 3? Again, Tier 2, very strong drivers. Ghost, who won multiple races last season. He will be a top-end Tier 2 driver. Steel Lane, relegated from Tier 1 and now into Tier 2. You've got Kingy the King. I've seen some of his pace on this game. He looks very quick in Tier 2 as well. But he could be partnered by his brother, Kingy OG. How much am I worth? That's a good question. Well, let's see. I can get it up, actually. I've been told now. Oh, we've got some good news. Willie Fernandez is now here, so we've actually got all 10 team principals are now on, which is absolutely grand. I'm gonna have a little look, see how much people are. I did actually note it down, if I can find it there. Right. So, Mr. Potwash, you are worth 59.1. One of the most expensive Tier 2 drivers because your time trial was very high. So you are the 5th most expensive from Tier 2. But yeah, very expensive in all fairness. So let's see how things go. I feel like some people may have been sandbagging potentially for their time trials. But yeah, so you are 5th highest from Tier 2 Ripoff. Was it like getting a little Haribo or something, isn't it? Thinking that you're going to spend loads of money or something. When you shouldn't be. I'm worth 25 cents on a Debbie cake. Sandbaggers everywhere. See? There you go. But yeah, let's see then. Just 2 minutes for Kick Sauber. And I do believe the pick is now in. So I'll be just a moment. And it is a massive surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Pick 1 is Hazer. That's a shock and a half, isn't it? Nobody would expect Hazer to be the first pick in the draw. But there you go. We get Hazer. So, there you go. But Mrs. Poem's first driver then will be Hazer. And there you go. Entering onto the list. big decision, and not really a big surprise. I know Pesci said he's going to miss a couple of races in July, so getting Hazer in just makes the perfect sense, really. Yeah, for me that is completely understandable, and it just makes sense. I think most people would have probably gone Hazer first pick anyway, so I think that was the odds-on favourite to sign. Right, Hazer then. Let's get his evaluation in, shall we? From Tier 1, Hazer was 75.6. It was only well, 0.1 between Pesci and Hazer. As you can see, I've also got draft budget spent. So, let's get Hazers in. Got to add on to the 38 as well. So let's get my little calculator up and just price it all together. So it's the 75.6 for Hazer. And add that on to the 38 from Mrs. Poem, and that would equal 113.6 in total. 136.4 remaining for Mrs. Poem, but it's Hazer and Mrs. Poem linking up for Kick Sauber for season 7. Next pick then will go to the Mercedes, and we will just put that on for the time limit as well. Just get started. Here we go then. The Mercedes time limit is now on, and they've got 5 minutes, but Hazer and Mrs. Poem will be driving next season. Can I keep the driver signing font to black just to differentiate? Do you mean like tier 1 driver, tier 2 driver, tier 3 driver on this list? I presume. Let me see. White for signing and black for TP. Yep, I'll get that sorted. 2 seconds. Right, the next pick will be in. So let's have a listen. Who would it be? Right, and it is going to be another tier 1 driver. The second signing for Mercedes will be UFRL Merckx. So, Woody Fernandez and Merckx linking up for Team Mercedes for next season. UFRL Merckx value 57.6 in total. And you add that on to Woody Fernandez, who was 34.9, and that would equal 92.5 in total. So Mercedes have 157.5 remaining in their budget, but they can only sign tier 2 and tier 3 drivers now. So Woody and Merck are in at Mercedes. Let's get the clock stopped for now. What I'm going to quickly do is do what Drac suggested though. I'm going to just quickly try and change some of the colours. So I'm going to put the team principals all in the same colour. Oh, actually, I can give them... Would that work if I put it in that? There you go. I'll do that first of all. And secondly, so you want Dutch Beast, Woody Fernandez. But you need him in white as well. There you go. Shudson. So we're getting everybody in who is a team principal for next season. Just Destroyer Drac, Shazam, and I think Mrs. Poem, and Kingy as well. King OG is the last one. There you go. I think that is sort of what you were looking at. But anyways, so I don't know, team principal part I might just amend slightly. What colour shall we make it? We'll make it a darker blue. There you go. And then we can make these white. And there you go. Let's do it all over. So team principals are all different colours. And they're all in black now, so the team principals are listed for you. So Merck has been signed and Hazer has also been signed. And now we are going to go to the third pick. We didn't even get to the clock, in fact. But let's go, third pick. Alright, so pick 3 is in, ladies and gentlemen. And pick 3 for Team Haas to join Matthias will be another Tier 1 driver. So again, we're not getting to the Tier 2s or 3s just yet. They can choose to. If anybody wants to sign a Tier 2 or Tier 3, they absolutely have that choice. But it is going to be UFRL Mr. Poem. So he was the Season 5 champion in Tier 1. Back-to-back championships rather, for the international tier as well, Seasons 5 and 6. Very steady hands. How would he fare in Season 7 on a Team Matthias? So, Mr. Poem will sign for Team Haas. And what we will do is ensure that we will get the clock on for Williams as well, so they do know that. But it is going pretty quickly. Right, the Williams team then are now getting in. Right, let's see what the chat is saying. Mrs. Peter Skint. So Hazer got signed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, first driver. You would expect him to get signed anyway. They have such a lovely relationship. Oh, who was that? What, regarding Matthias and Mr. Poem? Very friendly, aren't they? Indeed. But yeah, so let's see the 4th pick. Will it be another Tier 1 driver, or will we finally get down to non-Tier 1s? That'll be the next question. For those who are team principals, I am going to update the sort of list. I think, you know, in the team principal info part, I'm going to put ticks next to everyone's name who has been selected, just to make it easier for you guys. Right, so we've only had 3 so far, so there you go. That has now been fully updated on the team principal info part. For those who are team principals, they can see it now. All of those with ticks have been selected. As you can see, Tier 1 has only got 2, 4, 6, 8 drivers remaining for Tier 1. Right. And we have got the next pick. And again, it's another Tier 1 driver. So, is anybody going to go with a 2 or 3? That's going to be crazy. But the Tier 1 driver again selected is Bad Boy. So, was meant to be a team principal. Decided not to be a team principal, though. But it will be Bad Boy alongside Pesci. So again, a very, very strong team lining up there. I am just going to have to make sure I do update. Did I get Mercs on? Yep, I did. Mr. Poem. Right, I just need to edit the Haas amount as well. So just be 2 seconds on that. So Mr. Poem's value is 59.4. That brings it down to 190.6 remaining for Team Haas. And then go to the Williams, who have just signed Bad Boy. So again, another big hitter. 52.5 added on for them. And you add that to the 75.7, which was what Pesci was worth. So that makes it 128.2. They've got 121.8 remaining. They've got less than half the budget for Williams after 2 drivers. And that was Pesci and Bad Boy, but they've got their Tier 1s stacked. So next pick will be at the Ferrari. So let's have a listen. Who will Ferrari sign? And for the first time, it is not a Tier 1 driver. The Ferrari signing is going to be a Tier 2 driver. Former Tier 1 driver, UFRL Steve Lane. So Steve Lane will be joining Dutch Beast at the Ferrari for next season. So his valuation in Tier 2, 66.1, so a hefty price tag. Now he's got to prove himself. He was in Tier 2 before, might I add. I think, what season was it? I'm trying to remember now. I think it was potentially season 2, maybe season 3 even. I'm pretty sure it was season 2, like the back end of it. And then season 3, I think he went to Tier 1. Either way, Lane 66.1 is going straight into Ferrari. So it's a big signing, really. It's a lot of money to spend on a single driver. But it's the first non-tier 1 being signed. So as you can see, they have 149.5 remaining. But finally, they've got somebody outside of tier 1 signed, and that will be Lane. It's also updated that for the team principals as well, just to make it easier for when they want to make a signing. So Lane will get a tick, and also somebody else. I think I've done Mr. Poe. Oh, Bad Boy. There you go. So it's now fully updated. Bad Boy and Lane have got their ticks, and the next pick then will go pick number 6, I do believe we're on. And we are. It is Team Alpine. So let's get the limit on for that one, shall we then? Right. So we're up to the Alpines then. Who will they go for Destroyer Drac, who will be racing in Tier 2 this season? Would he go for a Tier 2 teammate? Would he go for the Tier 1s who are becoming very much a shortage of tier 1 drivers right now with the amount that are being picked? Or will there be a first tier 3 driver being picked in a draft bar the team principals? That will be the next question. Right, let's go and have a listen. Who will be the next driver picked for Destroyer Drac at Alpine? And it will not be a tier 3 driver, and it will not be a teammate in tier 2. It will be another tier 1, and it will be Rusted Bolt. I remember I used to call him Mr. Consistent many a time. I do think his consistency sort of dropped off a bit in the last game, but not too much. So he's still Mr. Consistent, and he's still a very strong performer. He will be in Destroyer Drac's team at Alpine for next season. So again, let's have a look, see what his valuation is then. So Rusted Bolt is valued at 61.1, the third highest of any of the drivers, in fact. So again, it's a lot of budget that will come out of Destroyer Drac's figure. So let's add those two together then, shall we? And the total value for the Alpines, 128 is what they have spent, meaning they've only got 122 remaining after 2 drivers have been signed. Right, next up we are going to the 7th pick, and it will be the team Aston Martin. So let's get the clock on for that one. 7th pick for Aston Martin we'll wait on, but let's see, who do we think it will be? Just have to wait on that one. But would it be a tier 1? Would it be a tier 2? Or would it be a tier 3? Let's have a look at what the chat is also saying. I will note that I have turned off the sound alerts for the stream, just so it's easier for you guys to know what's actually going on. I don't want to be speaking over the sound alerts necessarily. Point deduction for... No, there's not been a point deduction, no. Right, let's go. We've got the next pick in. Well, we have got a little bit of a surprise on our hands. You guys prepared for the second driver pick from a tier 2 selection? I don't think anybody will be expecting this. I wasn't expecting this, not even me. Right, at the team of Aston Martin to link up with UFRL Coffee for Season 7 will be UFRL Doug. Doug has been signed, and he has been signed by Aston Martin for Season 7. Again, who was expecting that signing? Doug has been snapped up by the team of Aston Martin for Season 7. That's a big one. And that's the second tier 2 driver who has been signed for next season. Fairly cheap in price, 48.0 is his overall price tag. So to be fair, could be one of the potential bargain buys. We'll find that out come the end of the season. I've seen his pace, to be fair. He does have pretty strong pace on this game. And as you can see, Aston Martin have 157.4 remaining on their budget, but Doug is their next signing. Right, the 8th pick then will go to McLaren. So again, we will restart the clock then. Get that on then. So McLaren have the 5 minutes. I think the first few picks, certainly the first couple of picks per team will be quite quick, but after that it could take a bit more time. There you go, the McLaren is on. Let's see what Doug potentially is saying. Right, has Doug even got back yet? Doug's not said anything. Douglas, where are you at? That's not impressive. Make me proud, Doug says. Sergeant Coffee, that's a great pick, to be fair. Doug's been improving week in, week out. Yep. Yeah, he'd be asking for his money back. Oh, widget, we'll see. Hello, Justice for Meg. Right, let's get to the pick then for the next team. Right, so we are back to Tier 1 drivers for McLaren now. So we are into the 8th pick, and it will be linking up with Kingy OG. And the 8th pick, ladies and gentlemen, will be Lynx Peace. So Lynx Peace finished 3rd in the championship last season. He does tend to suffer a little bit with penalty points, hence why his valuation was a bit lower than other drivers in Tier 1. But Lynx has been signed by McLaren to link up with Kingy OG in Tier 2 for next season. So Lynx Tier 1, Kingy OG Tier 2. Again, though, still quite an expensive driver in all fairness. Lynx 53.6, not as expensive as most top drivers, but still quite a high price to pay. Right, 113.6 has been spent by McLaren, leaves them with 136.4 remaining. That means the 9th pick then will go to the Visa Cash App RB. And let's get that on. So Shazam will be your next selection. So let's get the clock on for you. The 5 minutes for Visa Cash App RB to make their first signing. Who will join Shazam at the Visa RB? So it's going to be quite important. Again, will they go for a Tier 1? I mean, all the Tier 1s are going. Again, I'm going to update the list for the team principals as well, so it's easier for them to see. So we have lost, Rusted Bolt is gone. So that's literally all of the top drivers in Tier 1. Lynx has gone as well. So we've still got Young Lights, we've got Putchy Head, Salty Stevens, myself, and Algery remaining in Tier 1. A lot of drivers still left in Tier 2. Only Doug, Kingy OG, Steed 8, and Destroyer Jack have gone from Tier 2. From Tier 3, only Shazam, Mrs. Poem, and Shudson have gone so far. So plenty of chances in Tiers 2 and 3. Not many opportunities, however, in Tier 1. So just waiting on the next pick. Will they be Tier 1, 2 or 3? But again, not many top drivers left, at least in Tier 1. I mean, Young Lights could be one to watch. One of the best drivers when it came to the time trials. So was Putchy, in all fairness. We saw Putchy a little bit at times last season in the international tier, for example. But with Young Lights, I think he can have some good pace. Would he be a title contender? Well, it depends if he races often enough. If he can race often, aka every week, he could be up there in the top 3, top 4, maybe top 5, whatever one. But he could be up there. Let's get to the 9th pick at the not the Visa RB. Yes, it will be the Visa RB. And literally just speaking about him, Young Light has been selected by Shazam for the Visa Cash App RB. Right then. Again, for me, that's not a big surprise. You're seeing all of these Tier 1 drivers go very quickly. Just want to make sure we did update the McLaren budget. Yes, we did. So Young Lights then worth 50 million. That's an easy one to add on, thankfully. Don't even need a calculator for that. That's 104 point. That's not 1004.4. That's 104.4. There you go. Don't worry, Shazam. You're not massively in debt on that figure. He's got 145.6 remaining, and that means we're down to the double picks, which means Shudson will get his chances then. So double picks at Red Bull for Shudson. Would he go for tier 1 drivers? Would he go for 2 or 3? Would he go for a mixture? It might get to the point where you can go for a potential mixture of candidates, really. But yeah, you've still got loads of tier 2s and nearly all of tier 3 left as well. Only a couple have been selected from tier 2. Nobody has actually gone from tier 3, have they? No, so the only tier 3 drivers who have gone so far are team principals. So, you know what? It could be smart to pick a tier 3 driver knowing that you have got all of them available still. See what's being said. Still no response from Douglas yet. Does he even know which team he's in? Maybe he doesn't know. Interestingly enough. But yes, we have updated the team principal info part as well for all of those who are in there. Right. Picks 10 and 11 are going to be in then. Let's have a listen. Right then, so pick 10. Relatively surprised. Wasn't expecting to be done on the first round, but I am pick 10. Shudson has decided to put his faith in me. I don't know why you've done that. I think that's a massive mistake, Shudson. But there you go. Shudson has gone with myself in tier 1 at the Red Bull. So I'm back in the Red Bull. I did drive in that car a few seasons ago, in fact. Can't remember which season. Maybe season 4, potentially. But yeah, back in the Red Bull, linking up with Shudson. Let's get my low valuation, to be fair, 32, but that's because my time trials were very low. Very cheap picks, though, so far. It's getting a bargain buys. So that'll be 59 in total. So we've still got 191 to spend. And he signed myself and Shudson for the Red Bull. He's still got to make another pick, but we're going to update this list now. So, pick 11. Actually, well, we're going to stop the clock first of all. And now we're going to completely update this list before we go any further. So, pick 11 will go to Red Bull. Pick 12 go to the Visa RB. Pick 13 will go to McLaren. Pick 14 will go to the Aston Martin. Pick 15 will go to the Alpine. Yes, it is basically, on this one, it is just a reverse. 16th pick will go to Ferrari. 17th pick will go to the Williams. 18th will go to the Haas. 19th pick will go to the Mercedes. And that means that the 20th pick will go to the Kick Sauber. There you go. So that's been fully updated. The 11th pick then will be Red Bull, and it will be Shudson again. Would he go for another tier 1? Would he go for a 2 or 3? Could go for a tier 2 here, Shudson, but we'll see what he does opt to decide on. Or does he go for a tier 1 knowing they are quickly running out? Right, let's update the list for the team principals as well. So Young Light has gone. I have also gone. I do believe everybody else is still there. Might I add then, Ghost, for example, is still left in tier 2. That is a big name. If you're not taking Ghost, you're taking a risk. I think that is all though. For me, the next pick could be Ghost, but we'll find out. Well, we'll just be a moment on that one. So, yes, Red Bull will be the 11th pick in total. Who will be linking up then for Shudson and myself? With 191 remaining. And the tier 2 driver is in. It is not Ghost. It is Kingy the King. A very quick driver, I have to say. From what I have seen from him, he has some good pace. Could have potentially made up to tier 1 in all fairness. And seeing his pace, and that is a good signing, in my opinion, for Shudson, knowing I'm on that team as well. So, for me, that's a good signing for Shudson. Quite reasonable price at 54 as well, which will just take it up nicely. So, for me, yeah, good signing. And it brings up the budget spent to 113, 137 remaining. 3 drivers down, the Red Bull. Right, the 12th pick then will go to the Visa RB. We are going to get the clock on again. So for the Visa RB, let's get that started up. But yes, the signings are all going through. Doug is 100% asleep, just seeing that. Yep, does sound like it. So he's either livid that he's at Aston Martin or he's asleep. Speedy put it. Yeah, I presume that was for me. But yes, I'm surprised I was one of the first round picks. I was not expecting that, especially being in tier 1. We'll see how my pace fares because it's my first time actually being in tier 1 as well. I've been in tier 2 pretty much since the start. Since I was in season 2 was my first season. And the only time I did go down to tier 3 for like 2 races, I believe, when I was doing medium traction on F122 on controller, might I add. So yes, it was a lot more difficult. But yeah, since then I've been in tier 2 as well. But let's go. We've got the next pick in for the Visa Cash App RB. Right then, so the next pick, and it will be in tier 3. So, oh no, tier 2, might I add. It's tier 2, sorry. Sorry to this driver. Right, Mr. Piggy has been signed by Visa Cash App RB. Again, looking at the bargain buys at the moment, 34.7, very cheap. So yes, Shazam looking at some bargains. 34.7 has just been spent. Let's get that figure on there, shall we? So 34.7, add on to the 104.4, and it's 139.1 has been spent by the Visa RB. 110.9 remaining after 3 drivers. Young Lights, Mr. Piggy, and Shazam are all in at Visa RB. The 13th pick then will go back to McLaren. I've just noticed something, to be fair. For Kingy OG, he did not select his own brother. That, Kingy the King, if you're watching, oh, that is going to be some fierce competition. You didn't even pick your own brother at McLaren. I always see those two racing in the McLaren as well whenever they get a chance to. So the fact that Kingy OG did not pick his own brother and selected Lynx ahead of him. Wow. But anyways, yes, McLaren will be the next pick. But King OG missing out on selecting his brother because he opted to pick Lynx first. I have to say that's a big decision. I made a mistake. I wanted my bow. That's what they all say, in it, really. After you decided not to do that. Yeah, we know what you mean, King OG. We know what you mean. Uh, he was meant to, but was yeah, Kingy the King. I wouldn't listen to that, mate. If that's what he's told you, don't take it on. He didn't mean that. He just wanted an excuse. But yes, so we're down to McLaren. Let's see what team he goes, or driver he goes for. Still looking for potential tier 3s as well. So who will be the first tier 3 driver to be picked? Obviously we've had the team principals go, but we're still waiting on the first tier 3 to be officially drafted out. So from the tier 3 drivers, let's have a look who we've still got available. So we've got I Am Batman, Coles, Jar Jar Bing, PRV Widget, Iceman, DD Friend, Gooders, Adam the Sweet, Wilco, Godzilla, Guy Bailey, and Kesonator all in. But we do now have our tier 2 pick by Kingy OG. And it is a tier 2 driver. And he goes by the name of UFRL Ghost. So it is, again, a formidable tier 2 name. And that McLaren team, I have to say, of the 3 picks, is looking pretty mighty. Because Ghost, you'd imagine, will be a total contender. Lynx has potential to be a total contender. And Kingy OG was the quickest in time trials. Altogether, it makes sense. It just makes sense, doesn't it? Right, let's update the McLaren prices. And so with that addition then of Ghost, that is 63.6. It does not leave him a lot of budget remaining though. So he best be careful now. He really needs some bargain buys because he has spent 177.2. It leaves him with 72.8 after 3 signings at the team McLaren. Let's go. So the next pick, the 14th pick, would go to the Aston Martin. I do know that whilst I'm talking, they also have time to discuss what drivers they're going to go for. So we're going to get the Aston Martin clock on. It might not last that long in a way. In all fairness, we could have had 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure they'd all go for it inside 2 minutes. Um, let's see. Boo-hoo. I'm presuming that you thought you had to go for tier 1 drivers, but that's probably because everybody was going for tier 1 drivers. That's what I'm imagining, what he thought. But that's why you asked the questions beforehand. If you did ask, you would have known. But there you go. Either way, you've still got a strong team. Lynx and Ghost are very good drivers. They do have potential of mistakes and penalties, so you will have to bear that in mind. Try and get Lynx and Ghost to lower their penalty count. You might be okay. But otherwise, a little bit of a risk. Certainly more so maybe with Lynx. He does get a few more penalties than Ghost would. But if they can lower their penalty count for the new season, then that could be a very strong team at McLaren. Right, the 14th pick for Team Aston Martin is in. Who will join? Coffee. And it is a former Tier 3 driver, current Tier 2 driver. Not just a former Tier 3 driver, though, because he is the former Tier 3 champion of Season 6. It is Sainsy. Very cheap signing as well, I know that much. I think he's worth about 30 or so million. Yes, exactly 30 million, in fact. So, a very cheap signing for Aston Martin. Let's get his amount on. So 122.6 spent, 127.4 remaining. And it will be Coffee, Doug and Sainsy all at the team of Aston Martin. Right, the 15th pick then will go to Alpine. They've already got Destroyer Drac. They've also got Rusted Bolt. Let's get that on for us then. So, who will the Alpines go for? Let's get that time up for you. Again, we could probably easily go lower than 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes may have arguably been too much. Going by how quickly they're going. I like this draft method. Very unique. Thank you. It's quite an enjoyable one. I would love to know what it's like from a team principal's perspective right now. Like, I'm not in that chat, so I don't know what they're all saying. I can guarantee you one thing though, their picks will be going. So they'll have someone in mind, and then that pick will go. That's pretty much what will be happening. Because we did a little mock one a few nights ago with me, Mrs. P, Mr. Poem, Merck. I think William was in there. Shudson was in there. And we were all having a look at who would sign. And yeah, people's picks were basically going pretty quickly. So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the team principals are thinking right now. How many of their number one picks have gone. But yes. Yeah, and everyone took, yeah, literally, I think Merck and Mrs. Poem are the ones who lost out the most. I mean, for me, because I was doing the data, so I wasn't actually looking at drivers until it was my time to pick. As I say that, as Turkey have just doubled their lead against Austria. They do lead 2-0. But, yes, so all in all, it was quite a fun way of doing it. But so far, we've got a few picks for every team. It's only 3.5 minutes left for Alpine to make their pick. That is Destroyer Drac. I just want to double check because I don't know if he's in the call. He might not be in the call, so I do need to check on that. And also, no. So let me just double check. He might not be. Yeah, he might have had me actually. Hang on. Oh, he's thinking of options. Okay, so he's got 3 minutes. And I am reading the team principal chat if Jack is listening as well, so I will be able to see who you type in there as well. Just so you're not too worried on that. But yes, who would it be? Would it be a tier 1? There's not many tier 1s remaining. Still plenty of tier 2s, but they are starting to go quicker now. Tier 3s, no tier 3s bar the team principals have been picked. So you could still get, effectively, your number 1 tier 3 driver signed. And don't forget, that tier 3 driver may be able to reserve up to tier 2 as well, free of any costs, which will be important. Same for tier 2. If you're a tier 2 driver, you can heal up to tier 1 and it won't cost any more money. So, yeah, we'll see how it all works out. But just waiting now. Just over 2 minutes for Destroyer Drac to make his pick for Alpine. He's already got Rusted Bolt. He's got 122 left to play with. It's got to be fairly quick with this one, though. If that goes down, then, well, let's hope it doesn't go down. I'm sure he'll make his pick within the next couple of minutes. Aston Martin for the win. What a lineup. You've got yourself, Doug, and Coffee. Well, my personal 20 seconds time limit. That would put the pressure on. I don't even think I'll be able to talk within that 20 seconds. I won't be able to do anything with the data. But anyways, my honest opinion of my favourites right now would actually be McLaren. Yeah, I'd say McLaren right now. Well, I would have potentially gone Williams, but they've only got 2 drivers so far. I was still waiting for them to make their 3rd pick. But right now, based on everybody making 3 selections, I would say McLaren would be the strongest team. Just over 60 seconds remaining for Jack to make his pick, so he's got to be quick. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm hoping, did I update the team principal part? I'm hoping I did. Just double check that I did for that part. Where are we at? Mr. Piggy went. Right, so we have got the pick then for Alpine. Right, so the tier 3 pick will be I Am Batman. There you go. So I Am Batman will go straight in at Alpine. We are just updating stuff on the team for the team principals as well. So we are going to get rid of Batman because he is on there. Batman is also the most expensive tier 3 driver at 60.8. So a lot to play with there. Signsy is already gone from tier 2, so we'll put a tick next to that, and Mr. Piggy as well. So 2 of the more cheaper drivers were actually selected there. And I do believe, yes, Ghost was also selected. So still a few drivers. You know, there's one driver in tier 1 that I'm expecting to be picked, because his pace, from what I have seen, I'm not going to say, should I say who it is? Do you guys want to know which driver I'm on about? But one driver I've been very impressed by their pace from what I've seen, who is still remaining in tier 1. So if you're still looking for tier 1s, there's one driver who I have seen race, and they have got some pace. And they were tier 2 last season as well. As for tier 2 drivers, there's still quite a few good ones available as well. Tier 3 have got most. But yeah, let's update it then for I Am Batman. Where are we at? So tier 3 going in at Alpine will be I Am Batman. And that means, how much is that? So yeah, 60.8 is how much was spent on that one. A big price tag. Taken into account, he only had 122 remaining. This ain't going to be great for his budget, is it? 188.8 has been spent. He's only got 61.2 remaining. Is he going to go all guns blazing for a 4th driver? Will he try and halve it to go for 2 drivers? That's what Jack's got to play with. So he's got 3 drivers, Bolt, Drac, and Batman. Now we'll go to the 16th selection, and that will be at Ferrari. And it will be Dutch Beast. So it's all down to Beast for his next pick. Let's get the that clock on as well. Right. What are you on about? I'm winning tier 1. Has only got 1 pick. Yeah, so far. Yeah, Has only got 1 pick so far. Yes. Sorry, I was double checking that. Yeah. You'll have your 2nd pick coming up very, very soon. Batman, you've been promoted. Well, he's been drafted. Yes, he has been drafted. Oh, wait. Oh, my apologies. I now know what you meant. He's probably watching this thinking, what's going on here? My apologies, Batman. See, that's where I thought your pace was. Like, you're quicker than me at times. There you go, tier 3. You might be quicker than me, to be fair. Either way, though, I Am Batman is in tier 3, and he will be driving for Alpine, so watch out for that one. Thank you for that, Jar Jar. Right, so there you go. Right, so we have got the next pick in, And not a big surprise for me, because it is the driver that I was talking about. I know I didn't mention him by name, but a driver who I know has got some pace on this game, and they are in Tier 1. Salty Stevens has been drafted in. So, not a surprise for me. I'm a bit surprised it took this long, because for me he was one of the bargain signings for Tier 1. Just going by what I have seen from him so far. But he will be joining Dutch Beast then at the team of Ferrari. So it will be Dutch Beast and Salty Stevens. Again, he's quite a cheap driver as well. He's just 38.2 in total. So with that in mind, that means 38.2 makes it fairly easy to add on. And there you go. So they've still got 111.3 remaining at Ferrari. Plenty for at least 2 more drivers, if not trying to get a full team potentially. I mean, I'll be surprised if anybody gets a full team. I may just add, there has been another goal in the European Championships. Austria have got a goal back. Austria 1, Turkey 2. But yes, so it's an interesting one. But I think Salty Stevens could be a good driver for that Ferrari team. Dutch Beast, Salty Stevens, and Steve Lane are all in. Let's update the team principals, well, for the list for them. So we have got selected. Where are we at? I think it was just a one driver. Yeah, so Salty Stevens has now gone, and that's been updated. Right, next pick then, and it will be the 17th pick at Williams to join Pesci and Bad Boy. And you're probably wondering, looking at the fact that Pesci's team principal, he's sure they're going to be looking at a Tier 2 driver, isn't he? Nope, you're absolutely wrong. He's gone Tier 3 and he's gone for goodness. So it is a Tier 3 driver done. He's got a Tier 3 ahead of a Tier 2, interestingly. Wasn't exactly expecting it from Pesci. But there you go. Now let's get that updated for you as well. But Gooders is in at the team of Williams. And he is worth 34. So again, quite a cheap driver. In all fairness, just a 34 to add on to the 128.2. So that really does add a bit of good value. Is it good value for money though? That'll be the key question. But good as a new driver as well. And he'll be joining Bad Boy and Pesci at Williams for Season 7. Right, next up then, the 18th pick will go finally to Matthias. It will be Haas. I know he was talking about it earlier on. I don't think we need to do anything. We can remove the clock watch and we'll go for Haas. There you go. So the clock is back on for the team at Haas. Anything being said to, yeah, Austria 1, Turkey 2, yep. How about man Tier 3 and I'm not? Well, your time trials were good enough for Tier 2. Apparently his wasn't. Or his wasn't, but I've seen his pace. He is pretty quick, I've got to say. For me, he'll be a title contender in Tier 3. I don't have any doubts about that. But anyways, we'll wait on the next pick then. Pick 18 will be by Haas. They've already got Mr. Poem, so it's all about getting the next driver to link up with Mr. P. Would it be Tier 1, 2, or 3? It will be one of the Tier 3 favourites, the Tier 3's quickest driver in the time trials. I think he knows who it is, because he would have seen last night Coles has been snapped up by the team of Haas for next season. That is worth 60 million in total. So a hefty price to pay, but how good of a signing would it be is going to be the key question to add. 119.4 spent, 130.6 remaining, but it is Mr. Poem and Coles in for the team Haas. Next up then, the 19th pick will go to Willie Fernandez, and it will go to Mercedes. So who will Willie Fernandez select for that team of the Mercedes then? We'll just wait on that one. But yes, so in terms of the draft so far, it's getting a bit more interesting now. We're getting to the final, well, not to the final picks, but to the mid-stage now is where we're sort of approaching. Looking at the time, it's 9:30. I think we can get a fair amount done. Can we get it all done tonight? We'll find out. We might be able to. It honestly just depends how long the TPs take. But yes, we might be able to get it all done, to be fair. I'm hoping we can. Just make sure everything is updated as well, the last signing. So we've still got 2 drivers in Tier 1. We've got Putchy Head and Algery still to pick. For Tier 2, we've still got Mr. Potwash, King of the King. Nope, King of the King's been picked. My apologies, I did just realise that. Let's update that then. So King of the King has been picked for Tier 2. So we'll put a tick next to your name. And in Tier 3, Coles has gone. And we've also lost Gooders as well. So we're getting shorter on Tier 2s now. Mr. Potwash, Gandalf, Speedy Bullet, Hybrid, Angry Badger, Late Bloomer, and Ender still remain for Tier 2. As for Tier 3, we've got Jar Jar, Widget, Iceman, Didi Friend, Adam, Wilco, Godzilla, Guy Bailey, and Kesonator. But the next pick for the team at Mercedes is now in. And this is a very tasty pick then for Tier 3. Because we're getting to the point where Tier 3 drivers are now being picked, which is good. And it will be the selection and the signing of PRV Widget. So Widget is in to join Willie and Merck at Mercedes. I reckon one thing that they're going to try and work on with Widget might be to ensure he stays out of trouble, really, is what they're going to try and work on with Widget. If he can stay out of trouble, he could be a really good signing. He is a lot of money, though. 52.6. So really what you're looking at with 52.6, you're going to want them to be rising up there in the championship at the very, very least. Let's add that on then to the current amount, and it will be 145.1 spent. It leaves them with 104.9 remaining at Mercedes, but Woody Fernandez, Merck, and PRV Widget have been signed. We are down to a double. Well, not actually, no. This is where things change, and this is where I'm going to have to get a little thing up as well. So the picks are now going to start to change in the order. The 20th pick will go to Kick Sauber still, so there's no need to worry on that one. However, the picks after that will change. I'm just going to update that just before we get to the 20th pick. So I know Mr. Poem may be listening. But yes, we are just going to quickly amend the picks on the stream for you guys. So pick 20 will still need to be picked, and that will be Kick Sauber. And then we'll go on to pick 21 Red Bull. Pick 22 will go to Visa RB. Pick 23 will go to, oh yeah, there you go, McLaren. I think you're literally just adding a 2 onto the end of each one, aren't you? So Aston Martin should be 24. Let me just double check. Yeah, I know what I'm doing now. So just add a 2 onto each one now. It's literally just what we're doing. Haas can add a 2. Williams can get a 2. Makes it a lot easier. This maths is right when you just have to add on 10. There you go. Makes it super easy, doesn't it? There you go. So those are the next picks, and again, taken into account, Kick Sauber would effectively be pick number 30 as well. But we need their 20th pick too. So pick number 20 will be Kick Sauber. I do believe, though, we might be adding on to the team principals tomorrow. So by the looks of things, we will be ending after this pick. Pick 20 Kick Sauber. And then we'll continue with the rest tomorrow. It will be 8 o'clock tomorrow as well, so plenty of time to continue with. Obviously, tonight started after 8:30. I think it may have been about 20 to 9 by that stage. We may also potentially lower the amount of time each TP gets, which makes more sense in my opinion. Because I think 5 minutes has clearly proven to be more than enough time. But let's just double check what will be going on. But I think we will be selecting the 20th pick now. And I think we might be going to the 3rd day, which will be tomorrow night for the remaining picks. Providing all TPs are able to. I'm hoping that all of them can. Obviously, if anybody can't make tomorrow, they probably need to let us know quickly. But I don't mind necessarily finishing it if we need to. How many? So we on to pick 20. Got to get to 30 and 40 at the very least. I mean, it will go on past 10 o'clock, I guarantee that. unless we lower the clock. Okay, be told we keep going. Right, so we're going to go to pick number 20 then, at Kicks Albert, and then we'll go to pick 21. Right, let's go. So, let's get the time limit on for Kicks Albert. I do reckon that we could lower the clock though, potentially. I think 5 minutes is showing to be more than enough. But yes, Kick Sauber will get the double. Well, actually, no, they get one pick. One pick for Kick Sauber. Right, let's see. Yeah, keep going. Oh, that's the thing though, it doesn't reverse again. So it's a bit of a different one. So I'm not used to this way personally. I think it's how they do it in NFL, I believe. So again, it's not something I personally watch, so I'm not an absolute pro with that sort of thing. Maybe lower timing out. Yeah, what should we say? Maybe 3 minutes potentially. Keep going 3 minutes. Yeah, I agree with that. If we could do 3 minutes, because we've got to factor in people just may not be able to make tomorrow. So therefore, I'll start that. 3 minutes then will be the amount of time for Kick Sauber to make their picks, and it will stay at 3 minutes now for the rest of tonight's draft. Right. Heck is going on? I've not watched an hour to know where I'm racing. Well, if your name's not on there yet, you have not been selected just yet. But we're only on pick number 20 for Kick Sauber, and then it will be moving to the third round of picks. So we're just waiting on Kick Sauber then to make the next pick. Kick Sauber are pick 20. So we're just waiting on that then. So there's 2 minutes for Kick Sauber to make their selection. And that is Mrs. Poem. No, it's not. Wait, is it Mrs. Poem? Yes, it is, sorry. Mrs. Poem is the next pick, pick 20. Right, so the next pick is in then for Kick Sauber, and it will be Speedy Bullet. And that will be a tier 2 driver signed by Mrs. Poem. So it will be Hazer, Speedy Bullet, and Mrs. Poem. Again, I would say a very strong team there. Hazer, obviously, everybody knows he will most likely be a title contender in Tier 1, if not a potential champion. Speedy Bullet, well, he has shown some good pace in Tier 2 when I've seen him race there before, but again, new game, we'll see what happens. Mrs. Poem, I've not seen her race in a long, long time, I have to say. But let's see what her pace can be like. But that will be the new signing then for Kick Sauber, and it will be Speedy Bullet going in for the team for next season. Right, let's get on again to get all the prices up for myself. So Speedy Bullet, its value is 47.6. Not that much in all fairness to Speedy Bullet, and 113.6 to add on. So it's 161.2. And leaves 88.8 in total. Right, pick 21 then is Red Bull, and it will be Shudson. And we are back to the Tier 1 drivers. Again, not many left. I do believe there's only 2 remaining. We'll just stop the clock quickly because it's not Kick Sauber. But the pick here will be Putchy Head. So Putchy Head has just been signed for Red Bull. So it'll be myself alongside Putchy for Tier 1. It'll be an interesting one. I've not raced too much with Putchy in all fairness, so I'm interested to see how that works, what the dynamics will be. But Putchy Head, not too expensive as well, I know that much. I think, yeah, he's only 46 in total. Definitely some cheap signings being made though. So 159 being spent, still 91 remaining. We could end up with 6 drivers here at Red Bull. Maybe Judson was looking at potentially getting 6 drivers in. Maybe that's the way he wants to win the championship. If he can get 6 drivers for next season, could be tasty. When other teams are only going to get 4 or 5. Right, next pick, pick 22. We're going to get the clock on for Visa Cash App RB going in again. Let's try and see if we can get this all done tonight, hopefully. But Visa RB are the next pick then. Who, Red Bull? Oh, we're teammates, don't you worry, Poochie. I'm not the quickest, but I'll try and see what I can do. We've got King of the King, though. Very good driver in Tier 2. Shudson, we'll see what you can do as well in Tier 3. Hopefully it'll work out. And we've still got a lot of money still to spend relative to those who have not picked 4 drivers even. Like some of those who have picked only 3 drivers have got much less than what we've got still. So to be fair, we're getting some good bargain signings here at Red Bull. Right, still waiting on that pick then. Pick 22 for Visa RB. They've already got Shazam, Young Light and Mr. Piggy. And they have got 110.9 remaining. Again, they've only just got over 2 minutes left now. So we've got a 3-minute clock on for each team, just to ensure things get done a little bit quicker. So we'll just wait on Shazam then. Hope nobody's typing in anything like in, I don't know. I don't know where they'll be typing in, like a lounge or something. Hopefully not, or the team principal area, because I'm not currently looking in that area, but yes. Yeah, glad to see. Yeah, exactly. Should be a good link up. Again, no, I honestly, I don't think my pace will be too great, but I'll try and stay as consistent as I can be. Right, the next pick is in then, and it will be pick 22 for Visa Cash App RB. And Shazam has decided to sign a Tier 3 driver, meaning he will have a teammate in place for next season. And it's an interesting one. It's one of the new drivers. It will be Adam LeSuite. So Adam LeSuite alongside Shazam for Visa Cash App RB for next season. And therefore his valuation 32 in total. And that means that 32 it will be 171.1 spent, 78.9 remaining. And that'll be for Visa Cash App RB. So still quite a bit of money. Can they get 2 drivers? Probably not. It might be a bit tricky to get 2. But 1 driver can certainly be signed by Shazam. I mean, they could go for 2 if they wanted to, in all fairness. But they can't go for another Tier 3. And they are the only team so far to have all their Tier 3 drivers stocked up. Let's update the team principal list for a moment. But pick 23 will be McLaren. So we're going to go back towards Kingy OG. Let's stop that. Let's go onto this and let's update it again. So we're down to 3 minutes for McLaren to make their pick, but again we're going to be updating the team principal list as well. So we've got Putchy Head is out. We're going to start with the Tier 3. So Adam Sweet is out of the draw, so let's go for him. PRV Widget is gone. For Tier 2, Speedy Bullet is gone. Still got Gandalf, still got Mr. Potwash, Hybrid is still in there, Badger is still in there, Late Bloomer as well. Ender is still in there as well. Putchy Head is gone. And the next pick then for which team is it again? Yes, it is McLaren. Oh, they can't. They've already got 2 drivers at McLaren, so they did want to sign Ender. They can't sign Ender based on the fact that they've already got 2 drivers in Tier 2, so they need to sign another driver. They cannot sign Ender, and they've got to be pretty quick with it. Not got a lot of time left. Got 2 minutes to go, and they cannot sign Ender for next season because he's already a Tier 2 driver, and they've already got 2 drivers in Tier 2, King OG and UFRL Ghost. So they must sign another driver. They cannot sign Ender, who will be driving in Tier 2 as well. So it has to be a Tier 1 or it has to be a Tier 3 for Kingy OG. And again, Kingy OG, that is a Tier 2 driver. You wanted hybrid this time. Just have a little look in Tier 1 or Tier 3. There must be a driver you like in there. One of them you must like, surely. Just have a look. Have a look through those names, Kingy. There you go, he's got one. So he's gone for Godzilla, Tier 3, for King EOG at McLaren. So he's finally got one who's not a Tier 2 driver. He really wanted a Tier 2, didn't he? How many Tier 2 drivers did he want? Either way, he's got one in. So Godzilla has been signed. Godzilla only I only noticed him to be on the sheet today as well, so he's only just been added. He was added after 7 o'clock, in fact, so only about an hour and a bit before the draft started. He hasn't been signed, however, but we did actually get his full evaluation in. I'll just double check it. I think it'll be around just over 30, I'd expect. Not even that, 28.5 for Godzilla, but it's not a new driver. So 28.5 for Godzilla, and on to 177.2. They do need the bargain signings, and they've got one of them. So it's 205.7 remaining. Well, spent 44.3 remaining at McLaren. Next pick 24, and it will go to the Aston Martin of UFRL Coffee. Right, whilst we just wait on that pick then for Coffee. Again, his teammates so far, Doug and Sainsy, both in Tier 2. And I have just gone for a driver. Right, Tier 3. And it will be Iceman. So another new driver has been selected. I'm relatively surprised. We've still got a few drivers in Tier 3 who were there last season who have not yet been picked. So again, I'm a little bit surprised on that. But Iceman has now been drafted. Right, let's get that sorted out. So Iceman was 50. Oh, that's an expensive one. One of the new drivers, but he was one of the quickest new drivers as well, might I add. So 50 in total, makes it 172.6 spent, 77.4 remaining for Aston Martin. Pretty good on their budget. Coffee, Doug, Sainsy and Iceman, all for Aston Martin at the moment. Let's update the list again for the team principals. We are on to pick 25, and it will be Alpine. So Destroyer Jack will be the next one to pick. He's got 3 minutes. We're just going to put it on right now. And there you go. So let's update that all then. Let's Destroyer Jack. And let's update the team principal list as well, so they all know who's left. They've only got one driver in Tier 1. It is Algery. It's still remaining. We have now lost Godzilla in Tier 3. We've lost Iceman in Tier 3. So we're only down to a selection of drivers now. Ender in Tier 2 did not go, might I add. I was going to actually tick him off, but he's not gone. So Ender is still available. But yes, so drivers still available are as followed. Algery in Tier 1. You've got Mr. Potwash, Gandalf, Hybrid, Angry Badger, Late Bloomer, and Ender all in Tier 2. And then you've got Jar Jar Bing, DD Friend, Wilco, Guy Bailey, and Kezenator all in Tier 3. Those are your drivers still remaining in the draft. So we still wait on that pick for Destroyer Jack. He's got Rusted Bolt, Destroyer Jack, and I Am Batman. And he's got 61.2 remaining. He needs a bit of a bargain here, in all fairness. Or does he go all out on a 4th driver? Then again, if you go all out on a 4th driver, it's not got a lot of options remaining. Be an interesting one, this one for Jack. Because there won't be too much time left. Yeah, he's only got 90 seconds remaining. Not enough time really to spend a lot of time on figuring out the prices and everything. He may not have enough time to even try and get a 5th driver in. He may only get 4 for Team Alpine, you know. And the pick is now in for Destroyer Jack at Alpine. And he is going quite large then. He's going for Tier 3, and he is in the chat. He will be going for Jar Jar Bing. So, Jar Jar, you will be signing alongside I Am Batman for the team of Alpine. Again, I Am Batman very quick. So, you've got a good teammate, that's for sure. You've got Drac in Tier 2, you've got Bolt in Tier 1. Plenty of opportunities to grow. But let's get the draft budget spent. Jar Jar Bing, your value was 53.2, so again, quite a lot. But let's get that on. So 53.2 plus the 188.8, 242 spent. That means Destroyer Jack, it's pretty much time for him to go to bed because he can't sign any more drivers. He's got 8 million remaining, and that will be that. So we're going to make sure NA and NA. Destroyer Jack has completed his draft for tonight for Alpine, and he can make no further signings. Pick 26 will go to the Ferrari, and it will be Dutch Beast. So wait on that one. Get a 3-minute clock up for the Ferrari then. And there you go. So that is all completed then. There will be no more signings for Alpine with 8 million remaining. Nobody is worth 8 million. But we can get another driver in at Ferrari. They probably can go for 2 more, to be fair. So Alpine still have a tier 1 and a tier 2 slot available if any new drivers do enter in as well. Right, Ferrari then have got their next driver, and it will be a tier 2. They're leaving their tier 3 drivers very, very late. But tier 2 for Ferrari will be Angry Badger. So Angry Badger signing alongside Steve Lane for tier 2. So it could be a potential title contender in the form of Steve Lane alongside Badger there. Let's see what Badger can do in tier 2. He's been in tier 2 for a couple of seasons now as well. Angry Badger valued at 38.8, quite cheap in all fairness to him. And he'll be adding on to the 138.7 already spent, meaning 177.5 has been spent by Ferrari. They've still got 72.5 to spend on tier 3 drivers. But there you go, Angry Badger in at Ferrari. We're down to the 27th pick, and it will be at Williams. Pesci, who has Bad Boy and Goodus already. Let's wait then. Who will Williams sign for season 7? You could have my missus for 8 million just sent me the check. Destroyer Drac, are you listening, mate? You best be listening. PRV Widgets just made you an offer. So some people won't get picked. Everyone will get picked. Everyone will get picked tonight, yeah. I don't imagine everybody will go over budget. I think, and a couple of teams are being sensible with their budgets as well, so they will have time to pick others. I mean, for tier 1, we still need Algerie to go. So somebody will be signing Algerie. So there you go. It's just up to who decides on making that signing. And obviously there's only McLaren, Aston Martin, Kick Sauber, Visa RB and Haas who can sign PRV Widget. Just bed destroy track. It's getting late though in the Austria v Turkey game right now. Still 2-1 to Turkey. But yeah, for tier 2, still a few drivers remaining in there as well. But a lot of the big hitters are beginning to go. For the team principals, I will just update that. So Jar Jar Bing has now been drafted. DD Friend is still in there. So DD Friend has got to be the biggest name in tier 3 still remaining. For tier 2, they've still got Gandalf. I'm surprised hasn't been drafted yet. And again, Algerie, the only name still remaining in tier 1. So we're still going to wait then for the next pick, but it will be pick 27 at Williams for Pesci, Bad Boy and Goodus. They've got to go for a tier 2 or a tier 3. Surely they're going to go for a tier 2. I mean, there you go. So the next pick is in then with a minute to spare. Williams have opted for Hybrid. That's not a major surprise in my opinion. Hybrid, one of the talented drivers, very quick normally, particularly with his quali pace. Not so great sometimes with his overall racing capabilities, but that's more with a consistency issue. But if Hybrid can get that consistency together, then he will definitely be a strong candidate for tier 2. But Hybrid valuation is only 47. I say only. That might be quite high to many, but for Hybrid, I think that's actually a very steady value. And it means they've spent 209.2 altogether at Williams, 40.8 remaining. They can still get another driver in at Williams if they wish to. But Hybrid has now been signed. That means pick 28 goes to Matthias at Haas. So let's get that on then, shall we? There you go. So we've got 3 minutes for the countdown for Haas. Yes, Turkey have also secured a big win over Austria. So 2-1. Right, so the next signing is in then for Team Haas. They have also opted for a Tier 2 driver, and it will be Mr. Potwash has been snapped up by the team of Haas. So Mr. Potwash signing alongside Mr. Poem and Coles with the team principal Matthias for next season. And Mr. Potwash, the valuation for that signing 59.1. That is a hefty price tag to pay out for. And that would add on to the 119.4 spent. That's 178.5 has been spent, sorry. So leaves them with 71.5 remaining at Haas. It's only after 3 drivers signed, so not too many more can be signed there. Pick 29 will go the way of Mercedes then. So let's get that edited in, shall we? There you go. So the clock has now started for Team Mercedes to make their next signing. They've already got Woody Fernandez and Merck in Tier 1. They've got Widget in Tier 3. You kind of imagine they may go for a Tier 2 driver here. And there are plenty of Tier 2 still remaining, with just over 100 million remaining. Who do they go for? But let's edit out hybrid so it's not on there. But I think Gandalf could be a potential signing. And there you go. So Gandalf has just been signed for Mercedes. No major surprise there. I did think he was probably the strongest Tier 2 candidate remaining in the list. Also, the most expensive, of course, still left. But there you go. Mercedes have just added their first Tier 2 driver, and it is Gandalf. Meaning everybody has at least got a driver in every tier, except Ferrari, who just need a Tier 3. Then everybody has got at least one driver in each tier. But there you go. Mercedes signing Gandalf. It means their budget remaining 52.2. So let's take that on. Onto the 145.1. 193.7. Sorry, totally wrong. 197.3 has been spent. That leaves them with 52.7 remaining at Mercedes. Still make one more signing with that, but they've got 4 drivers. Woody, Merck, Gandalf, and Widget. All in at Mercedes. So we're down to the 30th pick, and for Kick Sauber, they've got Hazer, Speedy Bullet, and Miss Poem. They've got 88.8 remaining on their budget. And let's get the clock started, shall we, for the team of Kick Sauber. And then we'll do the next part of the draft. So, Kick Sauber, pick number 30 at 3 minutes has kick started. Obviously, if anybody does have anything to say, feel free to mention it on the stream. I will read it out and respond to it. Been live now for an hour and a half, quite nice to be fair. And this draft continuing to flow through. I do think hopefully it would take less than 2 hours, but we'll find out. Obviously, I know we had about 10 minutes overtime anyway, so it's not too bad. But we're getting quite firmly into it. There's not many drivers left, so it will basically be done by, I'd say 10:15 maybe. We've got 1 driver in Tier 1. We've got 3 drivers in Tier 2. Right, so the next pick is in for Kick Sauber. Right, so the next pick in then is going to be a very cheap signing. It will be Kesenator signing for a team at Kick Sauber. An interesting one, this one. So Kesenator alongside Mrs. Poem. That means it's only 26 million being spent, so a very cheap price tag. Leaves her with 62.8 million to sign another 1 or maybe even 2 drivers. And that means the 3rd round of picks has been completed. And that means also in the team principal info, I will update that. So Kesenator, the next pick. So we've only got a few drivers remaining. And those drivers are as follow. Tier 1 has Algary. Tier 2 has Angry Badger, Late Bloomer and Ender. Tier 3 has DD Friend. I'm surprised they're still available. Wilco and Guy Bailey also in there. So we have got in total 7 drivers to sign. And the next picks then, let's go up because I know I put it in there. So the order for the next signings will be, I believe, is it a reverse? Yes, it is. So Kicks Albert, I'll pick number 31. Pick 32 will go the way of Mercedes. So yeah, it's just literally reserve. Okay, so reverse order. 32 for Mercedes. 33 will go to Haas. 34 will go to Williams. 35 will go to the Ferrari. 36 will go to Alpine. 37 will go to Aston Martin. 38 goes to McLaren. 39 will go to Visa RB. And 40 will go to Red Bull. You may wonder, why am I saying it like number 40 Red Bull? They may not even get another driver. Correct, they may not get another driver. But you've also got to factor in that if other teams don't have the budget to sign a driver, then they simply can't do that. But let's go then. So pick number 31 is Kix Alba. And pick number 31 is in, and it will be Tier 3. Wait, no, wait, it's late bloomer. Is bloomer Tier 3 or Tier 2? Let me just double check on that. Might be Tier 2. Is he tier? Yeah, he is Tier 2. Okay. Probably because I'm thinking Tier 3 for last season. But late bloomer is in then for Kix Alba, and he will be linking up with Speedy Bullet. So there you go. Speedy Bullet and Late Bloomer are in for Kick Sauber at Tier 2. And Late Bloomer's valuation is 35.9. So again, quite low. 35.9. Adding on to the 187.2 already spent. That means 223.1 has been spent altogether. 26.9 remaining for Kick Sauber in total, and that may be their draft done and dusted. The next one then for the 32nd pick will go to Mercedes, and it will go to Willie Fernandez, looking for Tier 2 or Tier 3 for William. Let's update the list, and the late bloomer has now been selected as well. So we're down to just, I believe, 6 drivers remaining. Algary in Tier 1, but he cannot be drafted in by Woody Fernandez at Mercedes. So it's down to a Tier 2 driver or a Tier 3 driver. Yes, 52.7 remaining, so we've still got plenty of budget. And who will he sign for his 5th signing for the team at Mercedes, the Silver Arrows, for next season? I want a teammate, me too. There you go, Tier 3 drivers, Coles and Widgets stating they want a teammate. We'll see if they can get one. But we'll wait on the pick for Mercedes by William. I'm shocked that TD Friend hasn't been picked. Yep, me too. I am absolutely shocked as well by that, but that's what drafts can do. They can be surprised. Like in the mock draft I did with the poems, with William, with Merck, with Shudson. Like I didn't get picked until one of the last picks actually. I think I was like 3rd or 4th. No, was I 3rd last? Maybe something like that. I was genuinely very late on. But tonight was totally different. I was 10th pick, I believe. So literally anyone can be picked at any time. If you're a top tier 1 driver, then yes, you're naturally going to be picked as one of the earliest. But after that, honestly, anyone can be picked at any time. So we've still got 6 remaining. And the 32nd pick goes to Mercedes. Who will he sign with his 52.7 remaining? So the options are as followed. Algary is 28.2. Angry Badger 38.8. Ender is 24. Diddy Friend 42. Wilco 30. And Guy Bailey is 28. And those are your values for the remaining 6 drivers. Do I need to add on the fact that I wasn't expecting to add on to it, but let's get the Mercedes clock up anyway, because I thought you may have chosen by now. But there you go. So, wait on this. Mercedes have got their clock on. I thought they would have been picking by now anyway, but they haven't. So Tier 2 or Tier 3 will be selected. It cannot be Algary, means they are limited to 5 drivers to sign at Mercedes. Then after this, right, the draft pick is now in for Woody Fernandez. Yes, we were talking about him a moment ago, and Didi Friend has been signed, and he'll be linking up with PRV Widget at Mercedes for next season. So again, it's valuation of 42, and that means, yeah, to be fair, they've done pretty well with getting their budget nicely done. So yeah, 239.3 million, and it means they've been left with 10.7 to spend, and obviously that is that done. So Mercedes will not be signing a tier 2 driver yet, but their team is done. Willy Fernandez, Merck, Gandalf, Widget, and Didi Friend all sign for Mercedes. The pick number 33 then goes to Haas Matthias, who has still got 71.5 left because he could still potentially sign a couple of drivers. Most likely only going to get one, but he's got Mr. Poem, Potwash, and Coles still in the team. So wait to see what Matthias decides to do for Team Haas. But let's see at the moment then. So we'll edit out for Tier 3 DD Friend, meaning that we are down to 2 drivers in Tier 3, 2 drivers in Tier 2, and 1 driver in Tier 1. So 5 remaining drivers left in the draft. I've got to factor in again, so we are going to be skipping away from, which team is it? Yeah, it's going to be Alpine. So pick 36 will not effectively be pick 36 because they'll be skipped out. They don't have enough budget remaining, with Bolt, Drac, Batman, and Jar Jar being all quite large sums of money being spent on those drivers. So it would go to Haas, then it would go to Williams, then it would go to Ferrari, but then it would skip Alpine and go to Aston Martin. And there you go. So let's go then, waiting on the next pick for Team Haas. We'll get the clock up as well for them as well. So they are aware of 3 minutes. Getting on a little bit just after 10 o'clock PM as well. But thankfully we're down to the final few drivers for tonight. Matthias gonna give Mr. P all his grip packs. Nice pick, lads. PRV Widget seems happy with that one at Mercedes. Beast saying let's go, so he's happy with his team, of course, as well. So yeah, we're just waiting then on this pick for Haas. So they've got Mr. Poem, they've got Mr. Potwash, and they've got Coles. Are they going to go for a big hitter? And they've still got Guy Bailey, Wilco, Ender, Angry Badger, and Algrid. Realistically, Angry Badger is the most expensive driver, remaining at 38.8. But they've still got potential for Tier 1 with Algary, and Tier 3 they've still got Wilco and Guy Bailey. But let's wait to see who do Haas sign for next season. Right, and Haas have made a signing, and it will be Ender. So 24 in total will be his value, and that'll pretty much be that done then for the team at Haas, even though they've got a lot of budget still remaining for potential reserves or new signings as well. But it means down at the Haas team, 202.5 has been spent. 47.5 would remain, so they could still get a driver in if other teams don't have the budget or don't have the places for them. But Haas have now signed Ender for next season. So Mr. Potwash and Ender are in. That means Tier 2 has only got Angry Badger remaining. Let's update that for the team principals as well. So we have next pick. Pick 34 will be at Williams for Pesci. He's got all of his Tier 1s. He needs either a Tier 2 or a Tier 3. Meaning it will be either Angry Badger, Wilco, or Guy Bailey will be signed for Williams. Let's get that clock up as well for Pesci as well. 4 drivers remaining, but only 3 are available for Pesci. Badger's gone. Oh, okay. So oh yeah, Angry Badger did go. Yeah, sorry, my apologies on that one. So that means we are down to only 3 drivers. Wow. There's 2 drivers left in tier 3. And that means we've only got Tier 3 drivers are available for Pesci. So they've got Wilco and Guy Bailey, and from Tier 1 they've got Algary. And that will be that. they've got two options for Williams. Do they go for Wilco or do they go for Guy Bailey? Yes, yeah, Badger's been picked. Thank you for everyone for that. Wilco, you feel left out. He'll be picked soon anyway. Will he be picked this one? It's the question for Pesci to make that decision. And Williams have made their selection. And they will be signing for next season, Guy Bailey. So Guy Bailey has been signed. He is 28.0 in total. So again, fairly cheap. That brings their overall total up to 237.2. 12.8 remaining. But it will be Pesci, Bad Boy, Hybrid, Gooders and Guy Bailey all driving for Williams next season. And obviously they've got a tier 2 space 3 as well. Right, pick 35 then. And it will go to Ferrari. They've got Dutch Beast, Salty Steven, C-Lane and Angry Badger. They need a tier 3 driver. I kind of feel like I know who's going in at Ferrari. Then again, actually, they don't actually have a choice. I've just realised that. So tier 3 don't actually... Yeah, that's it then. That's pretty much done. So Wilco will be driving for Ferrari. That cannot be denied. So I'm actually going to put that straight in. The reason why is because you can't say no to having a driver if you've got the budget and the placements for them. Therefore, Wilco at 30 million will be signing for Ferrari. Leaves them with 207.5 spent. Still plenty of budget remaining though to get another driver in when a new driver comes around for tier 3. But they will be having 5 drivers for Ferrari. Right. That'd be NA, and that means pick 36 would have been Alpine, but they don't have enough budget. Pick 37 Aston Martin. Well, there you go. That means they have to sign Algary. And that is the draft done as a result. If you are confused as to why those 2 picks were mandatory, it's because you cannot say no to a driver. If you've got the budget remaining and you've got the placements remaining, you have to sign a driver, and they were the only drivers available for them. So Beast had to sign Wilco, and Aston Martin had to sign Algary. Algary's value also quite low, to be fair, 28.2. And draft budget spent for 28.2. So yeah, that's literally basically the end of the draft as a result then. So 200.8 has been spent. And there you go. So that is the draft completed then effectively. Let's add the NAs in for each team. So Red Bull got a couple of drivers still available. McLaren, I've got 2 spots as well. Aston Martin, you've got Kick Sauber have a space 3. These RB have a couple of spots available as well. And last of all, you've got Haas as well. So those are your teams in, and the confirmation of the Season 7 draft has now been completed. So at Red Bull, and it will be linking up with Shudson, will be myself, Viva, Putchyhead, Kingy the King, and Shudson, all lining up for Red Bull. At Ferrari, it will be Dutch Beast, Salty Stevens, Steelane, Angry Badger, and Wilco. At Mercedes, Willie Fernandez, the team principal, and he'll be linking up alongside Merckx, Gandalf, PRV Widget, and DD Friend. Still got a tier 2 spot available for them. At McLaren, Kingy OG, the team principal, he has got Lynx in tier 1, Ghost as his own teammate in tier 2, as well as Godzilla in tier 3. McLaren could be one to watch potentially. Certainly a formidable tier 2 lineup. Aston Martin have got UFRL Coffee alongside Algary in tier 1. They also have Doug and Sainsy in tier 2, and Iceman, a new driver, in tier 3. What I can also do as well, I will add on the new additional money that each team will have. I will do that in a second on the stream. Alpine have got Destroyer Drac in tier 2. They line up with Rusted Bolt in tier 1. Batman and Jar Jar Bing also in tier 3. Drac in tier 2, of course. Kick Sauber have got Hazer Tier 1, Speedy Bullet and Late Bloomer Tier 2, Mrs. Poem and Kesonator are teammates in Tier 3. Of course, Mrs. Poem, the team principal there and the reigning champion. Our Visa Cash App RB have got Shazam as a team principal with Young Lights in Tier 1, Mr. Piggy in Tier 2, and a partnership of Shazam and Adam the Sweet in Tier 3. As for Haas, they've got Matthias as their team principal. Mr. Poem will be driving in Tier 1 only. Mr. Poem, that might I add. Mr. Potwash and Ender in Tier 2, and they've got Coles in Tier 3. And last of all, we've also got Pesci and Bad Boy at Williams. Hybrid also in Tier 2, and then Goodus and Guy Bailey in Tier 3. Just been told of the Tier 2, John Casey has not been signed. So the last one would have been Aston Martin 37. So McLaren 38 cannot sign him. Visa RB can sign him. So John Casey will be going to Visa RB as a result. So there you go, Mr. Piggy and John Casey racing for Visa RB. And let's just double check. Thought he was in there, but he hadn't quite got in there. So yeah, John Casey will be signing in then for the team of Visa RB. So just missing out there for another Tier 2 at Red Bull, sadly for us. But Visa RB have got their team sorted effectively, bar just a one. I think they've got a Tier 1 driver available now, but they do get John Casey added in. I'll just double check the value for John Casey as well. So it will be Mr. Piggy and John Casey, and the value for John Casey is going to be written down 30 million. Again, very cheap in all fairness to them, and that means the amount spent is just 201.1. There you go. So John Casey will join up at the team of Visa RB with Young Light, Mr. Piggy, Shazam and Adam the Sweet. Haas will have Mr. Poem, Potwash, Ender and Coles, and then last of all, Williams have Pesci, Bad Boy, Hybrid, Goodus, and Guy Bailey. Again, if you're wondering why John Casey was automatically drafted in at Visa RB, the other teams, including the ones that I did double check to see if any of the other teams could have signed him beforehand, but they couldn't anyway, so it had to go to Visa RB. Red Bull could have signed him, but they were the next in line, so Visa RB had to sign John Casey. So there you go. The next team effectively in line to sign a driver would be Red Bull, whether that's Tier 2 or Tier 3. But there you go. That is the draft fully completed. All the teams are done for you. And let me just double check what is being said on the stream. Right, thank you for the follow to Sosa. Viva just read the stream. John Casey, yep, got it all in there. Viva rate all the teams. So who has... do you honestly want me to try and rate all the teams? I can do. I can give it a go. At the start of the stream, I remember saying that I felt McLaren had a good start, but I think they spent a lot of money on their 3 big picks, really. So they still had a lot of budget remaining, didn't they? Not sure on what I feel about McLaren now. Right, looking through the teams, right, Red Bull, I'll put my honest opinions on. I won't slate any drivers. But for Red Bull, I think it's pretty solid. Obviously, they've only got 4 drivers, so I'm not going to put them as contenders just yet. If we can get a 5th driver in pretty quickly, we've got a chance, maybe, at doing something. But I think King of the King, he'll be the one, hopefully, to rack up those points in Tier 2. I think that's what we've got to look forward to. For Ferrari, Beast and Salty Stevens both have pace. The question will be surrounding their consistency. Steel Lane Tier 2, a bit of an unknown factor in the sense that he could be very quick and he could be very consistent, but you don't know if it's guaranteed for both of those things. So Ferrari could be pretty decent as well. A lot of it will depend on Steel Lane's performance in Tier 2, I think. If he's a title contender, then Ferrari could be high in a championship. Mercedes, I'm liking the look of that team. Willie Fernandez and Merck, we know they'll both do solid in Tier 1. Gandalf in Tier 2, if he can show up on a weekly basis, he could also be a leading candidate in Tier 2. Widget and DD3, again, solid drivers for Tier 3. I think Mercedes so far, from what I've seen, are the strongest. Right, McLaren, Lynx, King OG, Ghost, Godzilla. They've spent a lot of money on those first three signings and struggled since then. Um, yeah, I feel like they've also only got four drivers, so I'm not going to quite put McLaren up there, but when they get the fifth driver, then maybe they have a chance. Aston Martin, Coffee, Algery, Doug, Sainz, Iceman. Some solid picks in there. I wouldn't put them as a favourite. I don't think they've got an outstanding driver in any of the tiers. I mean, Doug could be up there, to be fair. Again, it all depends on his consistency as well. We know at times he has struggled with that, but he's definitely got some pace. I think, might be a surprise, but Doug could be the key driver for Aston Martin for next season. Pressure on. Iceman as well. It's a bit of an unknown factor, but he was quick in the time trials. As for Alpine, Russell Bolt, we know he's going to be up there. Drac could potentially be up there if he could pick up that consistency. I know he has been struggling with that. Um, I am Batman Jar Jar being a solid tier 3. I think Alpine have got a good selection of four drivers, but again, they've not got much money left, and that could cause them a bit of a problem. So they've got a good selection of drivers, but the budget left is not ideal, and they've still got two drivers, three as well. So I don't think Alpine will be up there as a result. Kick Sauber, Hazer, Speedy Bullet, Late Bloomer, Mrs. Poem, and Kesonator. Well, they've got two drivers who were tier 3 last season in tier 2, so it'll be interesting to see how Bullet and Bloomer could do making the step up. Hazer obviously will be one of the leading contenders for the title. Mrs. Poem returning, Kesonator a new driver. There's a lot of unknown factors surrounding the Kick Sauber team, I feel. In terms of the tier 2 drivers, you don't know what exactly you're going to get from them. Tier 3 are effectively unknown because, again, Mrs. Poem hasn't been racing, and Kesonator is his first season in the league. But you know what you're going to get from Hazer, and that's he'll be fighting for wins and potentially fighting for the championship. So you've got that safety net effectively. And if he doesn't fight for the championship, then he could be in a bit of trouble. But I think Kick Sauber will probably be in and around, I'd say the top 5 is what Kick Sauber should be looking for. The fact they've also got 5 drivers may even put them in there for the top 3. Visa RB, Shazam being a team principal, but they've got Young Lights in tier 1. I think he's got some good pace. Mr. Piggy and John Casey. Again, a bit of an unknown factor with John Casey. I think Mr. Piggy could be decent, but will he be up there in tier 2? I don't think so, personally. Shazam and Adam the Sweet, again, I've not seen much of Adam. Shazam, see if he's got the pace. I think Visa RB, again, they're more likely to be around the mid-pack. For Haas, they've got Mr. Poem, Potwash, Ender, and Coles. Again, I think Mr. Poem will be the one they're looking for. Coles, though, could be one to watch as for his team, the tier 3 time trial specialist, effectively. So we'll see what he can do, but I think Mr. Poem will be the one that they're going to rely on for the big points this season. But they've only got 4 drivers again, so there's a bit of an issue there. For Williams, Pesci Bad Boy Hybrid, good as Guy Bailey. Strong tier 1, Pesci and Bad Boy. A lot of the time I'd expect them both to be up there in the tier 1 races. But then after that, Hybrid tier 2, he's got some inconsistencies about him. Great quali pace. So, you know, the first time they see Hybrid, I reckon they'll see him up there in qualifying, like on the top 3, top 4, and they'll be thinking, yes, we've got a phenomenal driver. And then they'll see his race and they'll think, oh. So maybe if Pesci and Bad Boy work with Hybrid on his race craft, maybe they've got a chance of doing something. But Pesci and Bad Boy will rack up some big points anyway. So after that, if Gooders and Guy Bailey can get some decent finishes in tier 3, Williams could potentially battle for the constructors, in all fairness to them. Strongest team though is difficult. I'm honestly thinking, only based on the drivers, I'm going to say Mercedes, I think, may just be the strongest team out there. That's my opinions. Mercedes and maybe Williams, I think, could be the 2 teams to watch for next season. Just going by the list of drivers and who's got 5 drivers, who's only got a 4, etc. Like if Red Bull get a 5th driver, we might have a chance. McLaren, if they can get a 5th driver to add on to what they've already got, Lynx, King OG, Ghost, and Godzilla, if they can get a tier 3 or a tier 1, they've got a chance as well. So yeah, still plenty out there. Alpine have got a couple of good drivers. Kick Sauber got some good drivers, etc. So they've all got good drivers, but I think not McLaren. I think Mercedes and Williams, who are the teams with 5 drivers, as well as a few others. I think those two in particular are the ones that I'll be looking at, thinking they're the strongest so far. Right. Don't pick me up. Do reserves earn points for their team? Yes, they do. They do. They won't earn points in the Drivers' Championship for the tier above, but they will earn points for their respective teams. I'm hoping to have a good season, and did you say I would be challenging for the title? I'll be honest with you, I don't imagine he'll be battling for the title, no. But there's a chance Kick Sauber could be fighting for the title. That tier 1 Williams lineup is lethal, yes, and that's probably where Williams are looking to get their big points. But again, if they can work with Hybrid to get some consistency going, then Williams could win the Constructors, in my opinion. But we'll see. But anyways, that has been your full draft for Season 7. So obviously last night we did the Constructors, well not the Constructors, we did International tier, we did the 100% tier, we've done the calendar, etc, etc. And for tonight, we've obviously done tiers 1, 2 and 3. Thank you to all the team principals for getting involved. Would have loved to have had a listen of what you were all saying, and I'd have loved to have known if any of you were getting frustrated that your picks were going. That would have been quite funny to listen to, I can't lie. Let me know how you all felt it was. I'm guessing, whilst you were all involved in it, hopefully it wasn't too bad from that side. I think there may have been a bit of confusion before it, but I think whilst you were getting into it, you may have then understood actually what's going on. And it's not as difficult as what people may have thought it was going to be. And obviously on the stream, I've got all the names listed anyway. Thank you, Widget. I do appreciate it. It was tougher work tonight actually than last night. I think last night, I know I had all the screen changes. I felt pretty well prepared last night, but tonight it was a little bit more different because obviously I had all the data to put in as well. So trying to get that sorted out, trying to get the clock on all the time, which I got on about half the time, maybe most of the time. Didn't get it on all the time. A few of the times the next pick was already in, so I didn't really need to. But yeah, altogether some pretty good teams, but my favourites would be Mercedes and Williams from what I can see on that. But anyways, that'll be the stream pretty much done and dusted, and that'll be everybody looking forward to Season 7, which starts on Monday. So next Monday will be the start for UFRL Season 7 for the first time on F1 24 in Tier 1 as well. So we all look forward to that. Thank you for watching. I have been Viva. We have been UFRL. That has been your Season 7 draft completed for next season. We look forward to the racing. We look forward to the battles, the question marks, the drama, and the hunger. Let's go for Season 7. Thank you for watching, and good night.